Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Tommy here, Math Productions. Thursday, and I got another day off, right? So, right now, we'll start out with the housekeeping stuff right away. The baby taking a nap. I got this camera, like I always do, right? If we all collectively hear the sounds of a beast awakening, I'll probably quickly have to go to a break screen, see what's going on with there. If that little one's up, why can I not connect to the Bethesda servers? What is going on? Why? Why? Like right when I start the stream, I don't know why it's doing this. I don't know why it's doing this at all. I exited the game and went back in. But anyway, I was saying, you know what I'm saying? It might be shorter than I was thinking or disclaiming, but so what if? What if? Hear me out. Let's just restart the console. Let's just restart the console, see what's going on there. But that was the first note about the baby being asleep. We might have to get off the game real quick if the baby wakes up. But if the baby stays asleep, right? She was up early and she had some fun this morning. We was playing. She's got a full belly. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully the combination's right and she sleeps. Sleeping currently is Pongo, unofficial co-host, right? And he's sleeping right now All's quiet on the street. I got the garage door open. The fan's off. It is getting kind of hot. I might turn the fan on. We'll find out at some point. But for right now, it's fine. And the dog's fine. So fingers crossed, we'll see how that goes. Why is it saying my Xbox isn't even on the internet? So like earlier today, I had put it on creations and then I let it like kind of fall asleep or whatever. And I was in the creations screen. I came back to the game and it said that it couldn't connect. Maybe like the Xbox itself disconnected from the internet for some reason. I think we're going to be good. Last note on housekeeping though, up on the board with Babylonia, new founding members, Burlar 514, my man Larry, and because Larry was so generous the other day, Bad Clams 83 Gaming and Sly So Savage, all founding members. Why? Why can we not connect to the servers? What is going on? Maybe it's because it did the quick resume. I saw it say quick resume. Let's quit and go back in. Fingers crossed. Come on. This is gonna work. This is gonna work. Because what I'm trying to do, it's low-key, it's twofold. One, to show off on screen the current load order that we're playing with. I was just gonna go line by line, talking about what mods are in the load order, why they're in the order that they're in, how it works for me, or why at least it makes sense for me. So hopefully it'll help somebody else when they're putting together their load order. But then also it'll give me, I think we're good. I think we're good. But it'll also give me then footage that I can double back to, like on a replay, and actually type out my load order, because there's been so many streams and videos like in a row that in the description it's so lazy. It just says will update with the load order, and you know, new uploads come, new streams come, and those don't get updated. So I'm going to do the stream assuming that it connects to the Bethesda server. It looks like it's going to be good to go. And again, the point of the stream, we're going to start at the top of the load order, and we're going to work our way down, talking about how I've put together the load order that I have. I have no idea how many mods are actually in it or anything like that. There's like 13 gigabytes, a little over 13 gigabytes worth of mods. We're going to add probably one more, because the most recent upload to the channel last night, pretty late, I uploaded a review of the Horizon Star Station, and it's actually really cool. It's actually really cool, especially so like if you guys are familiar with me in the channel, you know that like I'm not a huge person on player homes. Like I've done a couple videos talking about like a handful or two of them that I think are really cool. Why is it doing this? Why can it not connect to Bethesda.net servers? Why? Stupid. We restarted the console. It's clearly on the internet. I know. No, I can't. I was gonna say I could check the status, but I know how to check the status of like the Xbox like stuff, not for an individual game. Why is it doing that? But it's got my load files, so clearly it could connect to something. It clearly connected to something because it synced my data. It even synced from when I was playing on Game Pass the other night, last night, to make this video. Check that out. So you can see also too the timestamp. Let me make it bigger. Hey Tommy, how long did you play with the Horizon Station mod when you made that review and stuff like that? I said in the video, you guys are seeing me go through it for the first time real time. Literally, that save file where I tried out that mod for the first time. 39 minutes from starting it, character creation, getting to Leviathan or whatever the system with the Frontier. That's fun, might I add, right? Clearly you're not supposed to do what I did and as a level 1 just go right to the Star Station. It's not necessarily meant for that, I don't think. But we made it there and we walked through and it was tons of fun. But clearly it synced. It got on some sort of server because it's got my save. Maybe that's just through... Maybe that's not through Bethesda though. That's through the Xbox. But it's for the game, but it's a save file on the Xbox account. So it's the Xbox account that would pull the save file probably, not the game. But creations would, obviously, come from Bethesda. Man, the whole point of going through the load order, I already said, was selfishly so I had something to go back to and that I could slowly, like, transfer over in writing. Come on, just connect. As long as you connect, we're good. I just need to see the load order. That's literally it. Just don't crash from this screen and we at least accomplish. I be saying the stuff I do all the time is so bootleg. This is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's not going to let me add anything necessarily. I want to add Horizon to this load order. But as long as I can like show this load order, then like mission accomplished. That's the main thing. Heck yeah, for sure. Bubbles, good morning for sure. Hope you're having a great one. Raven, right on for sure. Thank you for being here. Hope you're having a good one too. And look at that. Check out in the chat. Britt, she's at work. She couldn't be home right now to be with us going through this load order. So good to see you in the chat, baby. I hope you're having a great day for sure. We miss you at home. Right? Hope you're having fun at work. We both work retail, so you know what I'm saying? There's only so much fun that can be had, but I hope you find the most fun that you can, baby. Right on. So, we're in the load order. Before anything crashes and we lose this ability to go through it, let's try to go through it here and see what we can get done. But at the start of my load order, I always say, and most people agree, because you're going to find out, my last disclaimer, I tangent so often, it's insane. But my last disclaimer, going through this load order, you will find incredibly strong opinions about load orders throughout the Starfield community as a whole, right? Like, not even taking into account individual sub communities and stuff like that, but as a whole. Overall, the Starfield gaming community, when you're talking about mods and load orders, tons of divisiveness, tons of strong feelings, tons of actions that look a lot like gatekeeping and know-it-allness and blah blah blah. I am not going to present my load order to you in that way at all. I do not believe that it's a one-size-fits-all. I do not believe that there is only one way that it can be done. I do absolutely believe that there are basic principles that need to be followed, and through those basic principles, rough outlines absolutely can be established for sure. I'm going to shout out Thorjan Ironside. It's not his breakdown, but he's amazing in a bunch of different forums, right, and sharing. It's on Thorjan's Discord server. He's shared it, I think, on Ghostwriter's Discord server and the Darkstar Discord server. I don't remember who actually came up with it, but it's a solid, super solid, fantastically solid outline for how one can more efficiently organize their load order. It's great. I haven't even looked at it. I don't follow it. I'm going based solely on what Thorjan and everybody else that you know what I'm saying, have faith in their opinions. I'm going off what they're saying when I say it's a fantastic list. I don't know. My load order I've put together entirely through guess and check from the first time I started playing with the mods, when mods became available for this game. And I am no expert. My modding experience prior to that, 2 games. 1, SimCity 4 back in the day. I used to go to simtropolis.com. I didn't even realize what I was doing at the time. I just knew that I was adding cool stuff to the game. No rhyme or reason. As I found cool stuff, add that file, add that file. There was no load order. It was just I'm adding more things collectively to the basket of goodies that I can play with. No thought to how I was organizing those mods. The next one was Fallout 4 for like 2 months before I started playing Starfield when Creations launched. So with Fallout 4, I looked at some videos about load orders, kind of got a rough idea of how to put together your load order, but we're talking 2 months, right? Not much experience at all before jumping into Starfield and just, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure it out from there. My, what is the word, when you like reference something as like your credibility or whatever, the only thing I can stand on for my load orders is like 600-700 videos that show that it works. You know what I'm saying? To quote Todd Howard, it just works. I don't really know why. I have a layman's guess as to why my load order works. It makes sense to me for the understandings I have of how games work, but I don't make games like this. I make TTRPG games, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how this actually works. I've talked to a couple of mod authors. about this type of stuff a little bit on the surface, but really nothing in depth because I can't make it yet myself. So I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, overload my brain with stuff I can't even use. You know what I'm saying? When I can start using the creation kit, at that point I'll figure it out, but not yet. But so right now, that's my disclaimer. I don't think there's a right wrong way. If your load order looks different and it works for you, fantastic. That makes sense to me. If you're having issues with your load order, hopefully this maybe will help because I'll try to explain the sections as I'm going through and my reasoning for the sections. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully it's helpful. And at the end of the day, at minimum, we'll have the full load order actually on screen, and that'll be a reference that we can use, right, for the community post, updating the descriptions of videos, etc., etc. But let's start out. So framework mods at the top, right? These are the things underneath the foundation. The analogy I'm going to keep coming back to is building a house. So before you put that concrete slab down or whatever other foundation you're putting in, you dig underneath, right? You have to dig underneath the soil, put in all the piping, put in all that other stuff first before the foundation. So framework mods, true framework mods, I'm going to call out my homie Betamax76, their Outpost framework. It's not using terms incorrectly, but it makes it confusing for like when I'm trying to describe what I'm trying to describe here. Could you put Betamax's Outpost framework up here in the other frameworks? Absolutely. Do I think that that would cause any issues or conflicts? No. But do I like better organizing it with it down in the Outpost section of my load order because that makes most sense to me, for a multitude of reasons? Yes. So these are frameworks, but we'll see other mods, specifically the Outpost framework, later on in the load order. It's because I'm looking at them as two completely separate, mechanically functioning types of frameworks. These are the ones that change that piping underneath the foundation. Betamax's Outpost framework does change some mechanical aspects of the Outpost, but that's super contained to just the Outpost, doesn't touch anything else, whereas these framework mods do have the ability and potential to touch things outside of just a very specific aspect of play. But the ammo framework mod, it adds in the ability to have these new types of custom ammo, specifically from 510 to Sean, and then later on in the weapons section, their Project Warfare Hardened Edition and an add-on and such like that. It needs this mod. So again, the frameworks are those under the foundation, the dependencies, right? These are the mods that later mods might have to call back to these mods to even function on their own. Ammo framework within subsections, I go alphabetical. People have called me out on it before. I go alphabetical. It's super easy then when I'm updating mods to know what section they go in and where in that section they go, if the sections are clearly defined in my mind and if those subsections then are alphabetized. It just makes it way easier to organize. But the excuse me, the ammo framework, non-lethal framework from Corrodic, and that gives you a framework for non-lethal takedowns, getting experience from it, etc., etc. From center.pat, the new workbench essential framework. This is a dependency mod for other Outpost mods, other workbench crafting mods, and loosely it works with this like workbench filter framework, kinda Exo Warlock. I'm using terms loosely like they work together. They impact similar things when it comes to sorting, filtering, how the workbenches work, what items you can add to the workbench to be able to craft, etc., etc. In the middle there, I have the Unity Framework by DJ Legends Prime. This is a dependency mod potentially for future mods that could add in like new alternate universes for the New Game Plus, stuff like that. I just have it in as a preemptive type measure. We have the Clamtech Massive Fleet 200 from Bad Clams 83 Gaming, and this makes it so that you can have far more ships in your fleet. Now we're still in foundational mods, but we're starting to get into more, we're getting closer to the surface. We're getting closer to laying that concrete slab, right? And what I mean by that is these are going to be actual gameplay specific type changes, not just frameworks that are dependencies. They can change things in their own right, but they're really just dependencies. Now we're going to those things that are going to absolutely change the way mechanics work in game. And that's like useful brigs, useful mess halls, the expanded patch, the useful morgues, all those by Corrodic. All of those things fundamentally change the way a mechanical aspect of the game works. But it's not necessarily, it is things in play. It is things in play, but those mods are really impacting more than just what the user does with the controller on their end. It's how the game mechanically functions, right? Underneath the hood, underneath the foundation. Similar to like Shadeness is Shade's immersive looting, and now we're starting to get into the more big changes, right? Well, okay, all the way through Underwater. So Shade's immersive looting, the elite weapon and armor effects overhaul by Bad Claims 83 Gaming, giant storage limits by Ghost Rider 231, by OG Tennessee restoring the textile perk, and then again by Ghost Rider the underwater diving. All of those things do again have impacts by the user on the sticks, right? But they really change mechanical aspects of the game. Going underwater, an entire perk system being restored, limits within the storage containers, how the legendary effects work, how downed enemies can be looted, right? All of these things change fundamental aspects of play. Now we're starting to get into the main block of that actual concrete slab, right? That actual foundation. Good morning, Will, and Dr. Nothing Cut. It was funny when I read it, but it was even funnier when I said it. That's a great name. I hope y'all are having a great morning. Oh, snap. Rick, you threw me off. Rick, dude, validate me. Was it you that was telling me about Horizon? It was you or Marty. I'm not going to lie. It was one of you guys. I don't remember who exactly. And in the moment, I was already recording when I came to the realization that I didn't remember who. So you know what I'm saying? I gave you credit. I'm pretty sure it was you. Validate me, bro. Now we're in the concrete slab, the foundation of the load order, right? So things that will impact a bunch of the user's experience directly, not just under the hood, but in multiple repeatable aspects of play. So we have better, again, all alphabetized, better dynamic weather, desolation POI overhaul, revelation main quest overhaul, take your time, quest don't auto start, and then the addition for shattered space. So these things are the base of the foundation. There's subsections within subsections, right? Something that's going to impact the overall world, the environment of the world. Now the environmental mods, I have the Grind Terraverse ones. They're at the bottom from It's Me, Polly B. But at the top, I do have the weather specifically, what impacts the weather first. And then I have the thing that impacts POI abundancy, right? And then I have my quest altering mods that also can alter other aspects of gameplay, right? So main quest overhaul changes it so specific, I'll just say it, so like the temples, you don't have to run the temples, right? Well, you do have to run the temples, but no, what is it? You don't have to run the temples. As you get the artifact, you get the power off top. There's other things that changes. It's by AGD25. It's a fantastic mod. Literally one of my first couple of videos, making Starfield videos, was talking about both Revelation main quest overhaul and Take Your Time quest don't auto start. I've used these since they were available. I absolutely love these mods. The Take Your Time quest don't auto start. If you've ever watched our streams in play and you've been like, hey man, how come when you walk past somebody talking about brownouts in the well, it doesn't give you an automatic you know what I'm saying, quest marker that's added to your quest log and blah blah blah? That is Take Your Time quest don't auto start. Those quests still work and they can still be activated, but you have to actually go and engage with those quest givers. It doesn't just automatically put the quest in your quest log just because you happened to cross a couple of words when they were in another conversation, right? But moving on from the quest stuff, now we're getting to more aspects of the foundation, but we're getting in like some into some framework type stuff, right? I'm misusing the word now, right? But we're putting up the structural support, you know what I'm saying, the outside skeleton. We're getting this built now on top of the foundation that we've set. These are the things that are going to hold all the walls up, hold the roof on top, right? It's none of the details yet, really. It's again things that are fundamentally going to change the way the game plays for the user, but we're getting more and more specific now. These mods aren't broad in their scope and changing a lot of aspects of play. These mods are changing very specific aspects of play. And again, in my load order, they're alphabetized. But the 10% ship registration fee, JK No One is the author. Fantastic mod. If you want to be a pirate, if you want to go out taking ships and flipping them for profits, base game, when you register a ship, you eat up all of your profits. 10% ship registration fee not only makes it affordable to register the ships that you get out and play, but also to make that money if you're just trying to sell them, right? By Ghost Rider 231, the Acts of Friends, been showing that off recently. Some other people have been showing that off recently in tandem with the Xeno Ambassador. If you take the Acts of Friends to any NPC, flap them with it, that NPC will basically become like a teammate and will follow you around, will help you out in combat, etc., etc., right? Super cool mod. Any NPC that will work with, right? Cost of living, simple taxes. I love this mod. It changes the way you approach where you're going to build your outposts at. If it's in an unsettled system, no worries, no changes. If it's in a settled system, you have to pay a registration fee to that power that be. Otherwise, a bounty you'll receive, right? So cost of living is tons of fun. I highly encourage it. Crew eats food, makes it so that way any crew assigned to your ship every 30 minutes in real time will want to eat. If they don't eat, you get a debuff. If they do eat, you get a buff. How do they eat? Just put food, consumable items in the inventory of your spaceship, and you'll see the dialogue prompt box, not dialogue prompt boxes, but you'll see the little update notification boxes in the top right corner of your screen every 30 minutes that your crew has either ate or has not ate, and what happens then from there, right? Crew takes contraband. This makes it so specific crew members, right there on screen, specific crew members will buy from you specific in-theme contraband items. I think this is crazy cool for immersion. It makes tons of sense, right? That you'd be able to go to these people with these components and that they might have an interest in them, right? Crowd gun fear, I've talked about this on a couple videos before. Again, Ghost Rider 231, absolutely amazing for immersion. The small subtle things is what really elevates the game, right? And when you're playing without this mod and you're in New Atlantis and you start shooting off your weapon, nobody cares. They are unfazed. With this mod, same scenario, go to New Atlantis, start shooting up in the air, and everybody will understandably start panicking, right? And little stuff like that, again, is what raises the game from like good to great. It's not the game itself, it's little stuff like this. Galactic Junk Recycler by Quarter Onion Games. Absolutely love this mod to be able to break down old gear into usable resources. It's a fantastic mod if you're a loot goblin, loot hoarder, you know what I'm saying. This mod, you'll be able to take all that junk and not just sell it, but you'll also be able to break it down into usable goods, right, that you can then use for crafting and other building. The Galactic Pawn Shop, again, Quarter Onion Games, gives you a terminal kiosk thing that you can build outposts and ships and be able to buy and sell goods right from there, right? Green and Gold by Vol Metal. I replaced the what was the other one I used? Star Finance. I was really good. I really still like Star Finance. I think it's great. Had high hopes for it. It was super cool. Green and Gold is phenomenal as well. I don't think I showed it off on screen. I think it was when me and Britt were playing, just us off screen the other day, and we put a bunch of money in a Gal Bank account. But green and gold makes Galbank functional for the player. You can deposit money, you can earn interest on that money, you can take out loans against that money. Uh, Fantastic mod for sure. Scrolling down to get it up away from the webcam screen, right, so you can see it. The immersive food AIO. This is super cool to me. I didn't really know what it was going to do until the first time I went to pick up what normally would have been a cereal box base game, and it actually had a Raisin Bran logo on it and stuff like that. Like, it adds in real food brands over the food items that you can find in game. It doesn't affect like Chunks, Tranquil Tea, Terra Brew. It doesn't affect any established brands in game, but it does add in real life brands to the game, which is, like its first word in its title, amazingly immersive. A super cool mod. Bro, Marty, my friend, thank you so much as always for your support. Big time, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You already know, my friend. Babylonia, yeah, bro. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not a big dude, but I played football for like 13 years growing up before I coached for a little bit before retiring from that aspect of life, right? To use a cliched phrase, but yeah, tons of head injuries. You know what I'm saying? I always kept my head up, but I ain't very big, and I'm kind of ignorant, so I used to try to hit hard. Didn't always work, but you know, I did rock myself a few times, so there's always that, right? Keeping with the theme of immersion, the immersive landing ramps by Skinny Pig 2. I love this mod. Every time I think about describing this mod, it just makes me picture Indiana Jones, like, start the plane! And he's just running, you know what I'm saying? He's just running towards the plane on the water. But, like, so this mod, the way it's supposed to work, now Vasco will automatically lower your ramp for you. So if you're running around with Vasco and you're like, dude, my ramps are never closed, that's why. But for the most part. But without Vasco, any other time, it'll make it so that way you have to manually either use a terminal or press a button to open and close your landing ramps. It's on certain landing bays, but it's super fun because sometimes you might be out in the field exploring, run into some stuff, and just book it back to your ship, completely forgetting that your landing ramp is not open, and you have to remember, oh crap, now I got to get into my inventory. Hopefully it's hotkeyed, whatever. These things are still in my tail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It adds a ton of fun in very specific situations, but in those situations when it does become impactful, its impact to me is worth the rarity potentially of that experience for sure. Landing bay cargo access just adds some cargo bay access panels to specific landing bays. Super cool mod, makes it so you don't have to get into your ship to access the inventory. You don't have to go into your pause screen to go into the ship's inventory. It gives you a panel right there at your landing bay. Lower your weapon by, I think it's firewall, but with a 4 instead of an A. But it makes it so that way you can keep your weapon out, but you don't have to keep it up and aimed right. You can keep it lowered. And for immersion, absolutely fantastic. Gamer 1984, more brewable teas and coffees. A hugely impactful mod that I cannot recommend enough. It's got a add-on for the Shattered Space stuff, but by flipping eggs, more NPCs have routines and stores have schedules. That theme I was just talking about of something impacting play where you wouldn't otherwise think about it at all in a base game version. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it's like, oh man, that little bit of wrinkle made it more fun. And that's what this mod does, because it makes it so that the vendors are not just standing behind the counters of their shops 24/7, 365. They actually have schedules and routines. There's new vendors and new robots that are added by this mod. It gives you slates that give you some little individual personal stories and lores and schedules for when those shops are open. But again, you could be building at the Outpost, you're zoned in, you're focused, you're like, man, I need some more materials. I gotta bounce over to UC Distribution real quick, Commercial District in New Atlantis. You get there, and there is not a vendor in sight, right? Now you have to sit and wait, or you have to go do something else. It's a super fun mod in that aspect, in my opinion. I highly encourage that. Multi-Tool Axe by Ghost Rider 231 is a fantastic utility mod for sure. Nova Transit system, I talk about it every time I go past a Nova Transit coordinator. It makes it so if you're role playing, having to earn the credits to buy your own ship and not just using the Frontier from the start, or if you're role playing for whatever reason not using a spaceship at all, Nova Transit system is a paid service amongst all the major areas in the settled systems where they can basically taxi you or ferry you or ride share you from where you're at to where you're trying to go. TN's realistic oxygen meter is my top 2 favorite mod currently. It increases hardcore aspects of play, survival aspects of play. You think by the name that it only impacts your oxygen. How big of a deal could that be? And oh man, you couldn't be further from the truth, right? Anybody familiar with my streams or some of the videos, you've seen plenty where I've literally suffocated myself not paying attention to what was going on, or I've gone into situations where I thought I had enough oxygen reserves and I didn't, and I had to back out and I couldn't finish exploring locations. TN's realistic oxygen meter is an incredibly, I wanted to say like simple mod with such a huge impact, but I feel like simple is gonna inherently like sound like I'm downplaying the mod or I'm like minimizing its impact. It's a brilliant mod for sure. And if you want a mod, like if you're, I keep playing around with ideas of like, if you're only going to play with 5 mods, if you're only going to play with 10 mods, for the general player, these are the top 5, these are the top 10. I'll probably end up doing videos like that anyway, because normally the top 10 list type videos get more views than any other videos that I do anyway. So I'll probably do that, you know what I'm saying, anyway. But like, for any player, if you were going to play with only 1 mod, only 2 mods, only 3 mods, like, there is an argument to be made that the OG Tennessee with TN's realistic oxygen meter has made the mod that absolutely makes that cut, right? It's a fantastic mod, for me at least, personally. TN's targeting HUD is super cool, adds in a familiar targeting HUD effect, skill, add-on, whatever to helmets, very similar to Fallout 4. TN's waste management, absolutely like this one as well. Another little small immersion mod that deals specifically with cleaning up POIs, cleaning up debris and trash and stuff like that. A hugely deep mod that I keep exploring more and more. And again, just to remind for anybody jumping in, going through the load order, we're now in like, we're building the framework of the house, right? We've already put in everything underneath the foundation. We've put in the foundation itself. We've now got up most of the structural stuff. That's what we're really filling out, is that structural stuff. We're about to get to the roof and really complete the overall structure before we start filling out, you know what I'm saying, all the finer details. But TG's Galactic Harvest by Modern Tank Girl 444, incredibly cool mod. It literally makes the agriculture and farming aesthetics that are already in the game. It gives them mechanics, it makes them functional. You can actually build a farm outpost and spend all of your gameplay time doing nothing but crafting new saplings, finding places to plant them, watching them grow, harvesting their goods, packaging their goods, tons of new synthesizers and automated converters and extractors, and it's awesome. It's just an incredibly awesome mod, despite any potential flaws that I've even talked about that are getting worked out within the mod itself. It's worth the 800 credits. It's such a good mod. Based with that, or paired with that, by Sweet Pea 704, Noel's Greenhouse adds in a botany table and some other aesthetical things from Galactic Harvest to the Lodge. Now we're getting into my POI add-ons. So Bedlam Dungeon Randomizer. The only reason I have this mod, I'm not gonna lie, is so that way random enemies can have Xeno companions of their own. That's it. I don't do much POI exploring, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I got this one in. Forgotten Frontiers POI expansion by Mad Monkey 119. They sold me on their mod from a Reddit thread way back in the day. I made a video on that way back in the day. And this mod consistently impresses me. I love running into the giant enemy filled, super detailed POIs out in play. It's a paid mod, but it's worth it. It's fantastic. Again, it's one of those mods that if you're like, dude, I don't need to add in this, that, or the other, but I would like some more, you know what I'm saying, variety in the aspects of play that are in the base game already. I just want like additions to that. Forgotten Frontiers POI expansion would be one of those mods that could have an argument made that it's worth being that mod, because those POIs are so cool. They're so big. There's tons of loot, tons of experience to be found, to be earned, right? But then again, by Sweet Pea 704, we got the Den under new management. It redesigns and changes up the interior layout of the Den Star Station, right? I think it's incredibly well done. Sweet Pea does fantastic work for sure. But that's it. 4. We went through all of our structural stuff. Then that transitioned into our POI stuff. And now we're transitioning into our weapons mods, right? We have from Zone 79, Melee Madness, Quarter Onion Games, Modular Arsenal. Here's those mods I mentioned at the start of the load order. For the ammo framework dependency by 510 Deshawn, Project Warfare Hardened Edition, the add-on pack 1, and then the ammo framework patch. From X2357, I had to add when I saw from them this Varun Star Rifle. I thought it looked really cool, sounded really fun, and I keep saying I'm trying to get more mods just from X specifically because I like X, you know what I'm saying? So like I've been trying to get more of their mods on my load order for sure to show them off more. I'll always have and forever be thankful for the inclusion they gave me, and their content creator appreciation hat skins adds in a bunch of amazing creators, and you can make their logo on hats in game and deck out your companions with them. Super cool mod. Again, when I saw the Star Rifle, that's how I wanted to end my weapons section, was with that Star Rifle by X2357, who then starts our apparel section. And for apparel, we got the Creator hat skins, we got from 510 the Atlas Clothing Advanced Tech Wear, from Zone 79 the Spacer Overhaul, the Clothing Pack Standalone Vanilla, the Crimson X Female Vanilla Shapes, the Ecliptic Mercenary Replacer, EIT Clothiers Plus Vanilla Female Shapes. It keeps going with Varun Spacesuit Replacer Green, and finally Varun X Vanilla Female Shapes. Those are all of the apparel mods that we have in the apparel section of this load order. We have one vehicle in this load order, right? One vehicle. It's from Zone 79. It's the Grav 79 hovercraft vehicle. It is a paid mod. Absolutely worth it. Again, that theme, if there was just a handful of mods for the general player who doesn't care about a lot of the other intricacies of the game, they're just exploring the surface level, having fun, there is an argument to be made that this is the best land vehicle. It's a hovercraft vehicle in the game. I do not enjoy playing without it. It's my preferred way personally when you're on the surface of a planet of traveling and exploring. Such a great mod. But that's it for the vehicles. Now we're going to transition to Outpost. And Outpost, I have like 3 separate sections on the load order, right? The top one is kind of like the framework portion of the Outpost mods. The middle section is like just based on mod author, like collections of those mod authors in sections, one author at a time. And then the final section is just additional mods for Outpost, like one-off mod authors, maybe a couple here and there, but they're not like whole collections or from specific mod authors, right? Have a good one, Raven Sly. It's always good to see you, Sly So Savage. Check it out. So look, Babylonia, Larry, Bad and Sly. That's the initial gang of founding members for the channel. I appreciate all of you guys very much so. Yeah, so Marty, I don't know how many mods I'm running. I know it's at 13.02 gigabytes used right now. 86.97 gigabytes free. But I don't know. My plan, when I watch this playback later on and I'm like notating out to myself like the actual load order so that way I can type it and post it right, at that point I'll get an official count for sure. I would assume it's over 100, but I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. All I know definitively is 13.02 gigabytes used at this point right now. But going down, this is again the starting section of the Outpost mods. This is the framework mods, if you will, for the Outpost section. So from the OG Tennessee, TN's Outpost Storage. Then from Old Bar, definitely within my top three, even on its worst day. You know what I'm saying? On its best day, top two, even number one. My top three: Xenomaster, Bard's Outpost Recruitment Beacon, and TN's Realistic Oxygen Meter. I absolutely love all three of those mods, and if I could only play with three mods, it'd be hard to take one of those three mods out of the load order. You know what I'm saying? Like those are my three favorites for sure because of what they do specifically, and that's very specific to me and my taste in play or whatever. But Bar's Outpost Recruitment Beacon, if you want to build outposts that you can recruit NPC colonists to that can then live at what you're building for them, the only way that you can do that in this game, aside from the named companions and unnamed crew members that you can purchase, the only way to recruit NPC colonists is through Bard's Outpost Recruitment Beacon. Fantastic mod. And then we're going to get to a initial start of Betamax. Betamax, they probably have the most Outpost mods on my load order. They are arguably the best Outpost modder in my opinion. Their work is incredible. What they've added to the game with their work is incredible, and the fact that they're continuing to fine tune what they're producing, right, and coming up with more and more. The sky's the limit for what Beta is going to do with the outposting in the game for sure. But functional decor does exactly what it says in the title. It makes decor pieces functional as workbenches, etc., etc. You need this mod if you build outposts, and if you want them to feel immersive and to feel functional and not just statically decorated, this is one of those mods that you absolutely need. Same with Betamax's Outpost framework. What it does and changes and adds into outposting is incredible. My new way, pretty much the only way that I'll power my outpost now, is the small generator that you can get from this Outpost framework mod. It looks super cool, looks super realistic. It's got a good punch, but not overpowered, and everything with that mod, absolutely incredible. Better Outpost Radius by StackGX. Disclaimer on this one, since I have the Darkstar stuff at the bottom of this load order, it specifically says don't add a mod that extends the radius because there could be conflicts with mechanics added through Darkstar. Warning heard. It's kind of like when I go to Talaman before I've done the Vanguard quest and they're like, hey, you're not allowed to land there, and I'm like, yes sir, and then I land there anyway and get a terramorph. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm doing with this mod. Like, I hear you Darkstar warning, but I want to test it out. I want to see how it works. The worst thing that I can see happening is a perimeter around the center of the inside of my build area doesn't have the artificial atmosphere on planets where that might be necessary that the interior of that build radius does. And if that's the worst thing, I can live with that. I'm not mad at that. Build and Decorate Anywhere by LBGshi. Love this mod. Use it sparingly. Rarely do I use it, to be fair, but what it adds to the game is something that just makes sense as being a feature available to the game. Being able to build outpost building style anywhere that you choose, or decorate outpost decorating, ship decorating style anywhere that you choose. Fantastic mod. Builder by Naruk. Literally the only reason that I use this, yes, the part center of that description that says decorations can now clip with each other, that is relevant at times for me whenever I'm doing outpost decorating for sure, but more so than that, Builder removes the build limit, right? So I no longer have a finite amount of things that I can put in my build radius before I'm capped and can build and decorate no more. Because of Builder, it removes that, and I can build anything and everything to the extent that I wish, right? That's Builder. Living Outpost paid mod, only recently got it. I've been showing it off a lot recently because I love what it does. Again, it's a paid mod, but when Living Outpost is enabled, especially if you're using Bard's Outpost Recruitment Beacon, those NPC colonists that have now come to your outpost, right? With living outposts, you can assign them to specific beds, so you can create for them very specific, personal, unique living spaces. But not only can you assign them to a bed, you can assign them to a workstation, a crew chair, things of that nature to give them, in a sense, a job. And then in the settings, you can adjust the sleep schedule and the work schedule for those assignments, so that way while you're going about your play, coming and going from your outpost, just doing your own thing in the outpost, these NPC colonists will not only sandbox like normal, but they'll sandbox with a little bit even more of a purpose, because now they have their own living space that they'll go to and frequent. They have their own workspace that they'll go to and maintain, right? So Living Outpost is an incredible mod. If you do anything with Outpost, and if you want a living type Living Outpost, especially with Old Bard's Outpost Recruitment Beacon, fantastic combination. Star Gym, one more rep. I think it's a super cool mod that increases or adds in some functionality with buildable weightlifting equipment. The auto-equip spacesuit mannequin, absolutely love this one, showed it off recently. You can put these mannequins in place and equip them with the spacesuit that you can then go up to, and with just the press of a button, equip and unequip the suit that you're wearing or putting on. Super cool for immersion. I really like that mod. Betamax's ammo bench adds in an ammo bench where you can craft ammo. Betterhabs.esm, I can take this off. So when you see this on Xbox Creations, when you see the name of a mod.esm, that means it's no longer active. You can see over in the description side, it says no description available, blah, blah, blah. So that happened after the last time I actually put this load order together initially. That means that the mod is still, in a sense, like it's working on the load order because it's there, but it's not going to get updated, and if I remove it, I'm not going to be able to add it back or anything like that. I probably could remove it right now, but I'm not 100% convinced if that would be a good thing or a bad thing or a neutral thing. I don't know. Since it's like 50-50 between neutral and bad in my head, I'm just going to leave it for now. But this is one of those instances then when you go to a Unity, or when you're about to start a new game, because you have chronic habitual restarter syndrome like I do, then you could absolutely remove the betterhabs.esm, because it's not an actual like functioning mod anymore at that point, right? All that stuff was added to the Outpost framework, if I recall correctly. But we're fully in the Betamax section right now, because we're going down the line with Chunks franchise kit. You can build your own Chunks franchise building right there at your Outpost. A Chunks employee you can build with it. More consoles and DJ booth. More manufacturing and item sorting, the sleep crate building kit, the tower hab 2, the tower crate, all of those mods by Betamax 76, all of them make outposting so much better. From Downfall Nemesis though, I'm a huge fan of Downfall Nemesis and all their work. I wish I was more into player homes, because they do some amazingly built and decorated player homes as well. But Nem's Deco Pack, that's another one I refuse to play without. It just does so much for me in streamlining the decorating aspects of outposting. Nem's Deco Pack, easy recommendation every time. And a more recent mod from them, their functional coffee and tea brewers. I'm not a tea fan, but I absolutely love coffee. I need a sip. 1 second, my fault. No product placement. We're not going to talk about what type of coffee it is. No, but the more coffee, or the functional coffee and tea brewers, it's by Downfall Nemesis. I'm definitely going to add it, right? The Outpost Habs expanded, also by Downfall Nemesis, and I think so too. Yes, the simple digipick crafting, all those Downfall Nemesis, all amazingly well done. Add a ton to the game, right? You want to be able to craft digipicks and not just have to look for them to buy them. That's what this does. Now, Tommy, why do you have this mod in this specific section of the load order. I thought you were already done. You even had some other crafting type mods in there. Why is this one down here? Well, great question you ask. One, because I didn't ever see this mod until I was looking at all the mods that were in the author portfolio, creator portfolio by Downfall Nemesis, and trying to see if maybe I had missed a mod that I wanted to add. I had. It was this one, Simple Digipit Crafting, and so I added it real quick. And then when I was going through and like cleaning up the load order after adding the mods, I added them meticulously in like a specific way, so that way I wouldn't have to do a whole lot of moving and doubling back, because as the load order gets long, every time I move a mod, right, it jumps me back to the top and stuff, and I have to go all the way back down and grab it and move it and grab it and move it. Super annoying. So I added Simple Digibit Crafting, and I thought to myself, is it going to break the load order or do anything wonky having this mod right here at this position in the load order? And I realized in that moment, bro, no, it's not that deep. The load orders are not that deep. As long as you're not doing anything crazy or directly in contrast with something, it's not that deep. You can leave this mod right here since you found it with Downfall Nemesis. It's in the Downfall Nemesis section. You can leave this mod right here and it's not going to break anything. And wouldn't you know it, that assumption was correct. A delivery driver. The bane of my existence when I'm streaming. Pon's literally, so I got this like net right in front of the garage door, so I can have the garage door open, and so like bugs and like birds and stuff can't fly in the garage. It's like The Shining, kind of like Pongo is inside the garage, but his head is poked out through the net, and he's just doing that bark that you hear going. But it's just his head. It's just his head that's poking out through. What are you doing? You don't even sound intimidating, and you look doopy with just your head poking through. He's tired. You can tell he's tired because he's not going full crazy. We'll try to kind of power through it. I'll wrap up while he's barking. My whole tangent and soapbox that I was making about having Simple Digipit Crafting like dead center of my Outpost section of my load order, not near where I would actually have had this mod, and was arguing earlier in the video that that's where this mod should go. Bottom line, it's not that deep, as long as you don't have mods that are directly conflicting with others. Oh, now he's getting mad. Now he's getting mad. The delivery guy finally made his way out of the truck and up to the door of my neighbor. I hear my neighbor like thanking him, you know what I'm saying? And then you just got my dog that's just barking. But anyway, get off this tangent here. Simple Digipit Crafting, it works fine right where it's at. Moving on. Better Buildable Walls and Doors, Volume 1. Bro, I don't want to get up. I really don't want to get up and just have to tell you to come back for nothing. So I'm gonna have to do. Please forgive me. 1 second. Bro, get back in here. Come on. Come on. He's literally driving off, dude. It's too hot today. I'm about to put the fan on. I got this sweater on because I are smart. You did a good job. You let him know. He's super terrified. He'll never come here. You did a great job. Okay, I think we're good. So anyway, Better Buildable Walls and Doors Volume 1 by Misso. Misso Plays. Game changer, absolutely. Especially when you're using hab and structure-wise, just the base game Outpost tabs. By the way, I turned that fan on. If it gets loud, I don't think it's any louder than these like cicadas and crickets and stuff that are popping off. But if the fan's annoying or whatever, just let me know. I'll check the chat in a second. But for mods that change the way the game plays, base game Outpost tabs, right, are just square or circle or hexagon, empty interiors, no walls, no hallways, no individual rooms, nothing like that. So you could use decorative pieces, furniture pieces to kind of like create walkways and do some feng shui and stuff like that. But Better Buildable Walls and Doors Volume 1 gives you a ton of different themed aesthetics. It gives you not just wall pieces, doorway pieces, window pieces, there's lighting features, there's ground pieces. It's usable in Outpost and in ship decorating, right? So, Better Buildable Walls and Doors by Miso is incredible. Also by Miso, the invisible workbenches and crew stations. Again, when you're talking about immersion, wanting to make the things that you've decorated more functional mechanically for yourself or for companions. Invisible workbenches, you can turn basically anything into a workbench or a workstation. It adds in like little pieces, I'm pretty sure, that give you a visual aid basically of where that interactable thing is going to be at. But it's super cool. It just gives you another option for personalization, customization, and functionality when you're building out your outposts or decorating out your ships, right? Again, by Miso, probably my favorite outpost mod by Miso. The paid mod, Modular Outpost Argos Extractors. I talk about it all the time. I use tons of pieces from it all the time. It is an absolutely incredible mod that adds in building pieces themed for Argos. And for me, role playing out a character that the game literally makes you start as a part of Argos, it just gives me tons of options and possibilities to play with. It's a fantastic mod. It's incredibly well done. The biggest thing that I love from it is the landing pads, because they have these terrain features that mesh into the terrain you're building at, and they adapt to the terrain that you're in, so that way it's not just a static one look that could look out of place depending on the environment. It'll blend in for the most part to any environment that you could use or build those things on. So that's a fantastic mod. Two of them by Mills Builds. Only two by Mills Builds. I've used a third one because they also did a player home that's a cave in Aquila that I think is really cool and well done. But only two mods do I use in my Outpost by Mills Builds. The Outpost Garage and Invisible Landing Pad, and then the Scrappy Structures 2.0. Both of those individually, but for sure, but both of those collectively, definitively, are what put Mills Builds constantly in my top list of most impactful, most personally favorited Outpost modders. Like I said, individually and definitely collectively. I absolutely love the Outpost Garage. The landing pad I absolutely use all the time. I think it's the cleanest, most efficient invisible landing pad option for the game. Legitimately, that's not a slight to others. If you got a $10 defense, but I got an $11 shot, it's not a slight on you. And that invisible landing pad is an $11 shot for sure. Scrappy Structures 2.0 is, like it says right there, 200 plus new items. So many of the structures and pieces that you see in my Outpost builds, so many of them come from Scrappy Structures 2.0. Now we're getting into my homie Something Wicked 3. Definitely hope my man's doing well. These mods, they all came out in such a short amount of time, just boom, 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 and they were hit after hit after hit after hit. I understand the way that they're made, something about like the naming on the files. Some people say in certain situations that it can potentially cause some conflicts. None of these mods have ever directly given me a conflict that I've experienced or been able to attribute to them directly. I recommend still all of them and have all of them in my load order for sure. The industrial complex based, and then the fortified, structured, fielded, and shattered. All of those mods are incredibly wicked good. You know what I'm saying? I love all of the pieces that they add. I use them and feature them in every single build I do. Even the most recent stream when I was walking through, I pointed out several times, this is from Something Wicked 3. Highly encourage that cluster of mods. So that's why I've also been saying too that I want to do a list of like if you were only going to use 5 mods, because stuff like this then I wouldn't be able to include. You know what I'm saying? Because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be like all 5, right? And we don't want to do a list that's just all 5 of these. I mean, it could if it's just like a, you know what I'm saying, like a cheeky way to showcase just these 5. But when I'm planning out those ideas, the top 5, top 10, it would exclude stuff like this where there's multiple in a set or where there's other dependencies or stuff like that. I'm really interested in coming up with a small series of load orders that are literally just a handful or two at most of mods that can stand alone, that stand on their own, and that pack a big punch, right, for that size. But all of those Wicked Workshop mods pack a huge punch, and I recommend all of them. Scavenge It Yourself by Ravageron. It's a paid mod. It's pretty much the only thing that I build now for my player homes in my outposts and for my NPC homes. If I'm not using the cozy camping, which is coming up, if I'm not using that for the campers, I'm probably definitely using a scrappy. I always want to use scrappy, but a scavenge type structure for my builds, and that's from Scavenge It Yourself by Ravageron. Also from Ravageron, a couple more. Some Outpost objects, adds in some structures, planners, and a generator. The Tiny Reasons to Scavenge adds in a bunch of unmarked scavenging themed structures to the world. And so again, just like I had with Downfall Nemesis with their Digipick crafting, Tommy, why do you have Tiny Reasons to Scavenge down here in your Outpost section? Because it's not that deep. I found it when I was searching through Ravageron's creator portfolio, and at this point I had already moved on from the POI sections of the load order, and it's not going to impact anything negatively right here. It's not going to break anything negatively right here. It doesn't come into conflict with anything at all in the load order right here. It is absolutely fine to be right here. Really, in my opinion, the whole point of a load order is to just have some sort of clean outline. As humans, we want things to have a process, to make sense. When it's chaos and scattered, we have less way to explain it, and we don't like that, right? As adults, when we get confused, we get angry, we don't like it. So I think that's why so many people fixate so hardcore on a load order, is they're like, it has to make sense for my brain, right? Like, I have to have a rhyme for a reason, I have to have a structure and a process in place, like I have to know why this is step by step. And it just reminds me of effing proofs from math. You know, the one subject in math that I hate? I love math. The one subject in math that I hate: proofs. Why do I need to list out 7 steps to tell you how I got the right answer off top? If I have the right answer because I did it in my head, you know the proof that you need? I just gave you the right answer. You watched me give you the right answer without the use of anything else. Why do I need to list out 7 steps, step by step by step? It's so dumb and a waste of time. That's me, though. A lot of people love that stuff. They want it listed out step by step by step. This is why, and blah, 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 blah. To me, that's what it comes down to. When you talk about at the beginning of the stream, when I had the disclaimer about the divisiveness of load orders and how people can get either gapey or flippant or nonchalant or way too aggressive, everything in between. To me, that's what it boils down to, is load orders give us a cleaner way that we can understand what we're listing out and what it's doing to the game. We're trying to understand it, so if we have something like a load order in a way that makes sense, that we can understand it, it just makes us feel better. You know what I'm saying? We don't like the reality of the fact that even if it's chaos, as long as there is nothing in direct conflict with where it's either explicitly stated it needs to be placed or with another mod in the load order, it, for the most part, there are exceptions, but for the most part, it does not matter. So, Tiny Reasons to Scavenge, staying right there. But then by X2357, the Abstract Lodge paintings, I think those are cool. And then these are kind of the one-offs, right? Available vendors, Cozy Camping, Clutter V2, Scully's Emporium. These are, I had, I think Pandora asked, and I think another, maybe a person or two asked about the bookshelf displays. I kept saying the name wrong. This is that bookshelf display. It's by Wind Addict, Bookshelf Displays Enhanced. They also have the item displays enhanced, the weapon displays enhanced. I also, when I was clicking through those, I guess I just came across this one and added this one in as well. Outpost Furniture add-on for NPC animations. The main reason I wanted this one is there's like a cafeteria style table with 2 benches. That's legitimately the main reason I wanted that one. But we got that one in there. And low-key, Matt Guyver's Outpost production posters by Z Ogre, like those posters are really well done. They're really cool thematically for like a more industrial type outpost. I think they're really cool for sure. Panels literally adds in 37 different digital panels to decorate with. Signs adds in 64 different signs. Wall snap letters and symbols adds in snappable to the wall letters and symbols. I love all three of these just for some more immersive, decorative aspects of outposting, right? And then we got Z Ogre's Easy Repair button. This one is a quality of life one. Outposts are going to get attacked no matter what by wild Xenos, by spacers, ecliptic, you name it, right? Starborn, you name it. So damage is going to take place. Base game, you have to go into the build menu and find each damaged piece and then repair it all individually, right? It's just a click of a button to repair it, but you still have to go through that process to do so, right? Z Ogre's Easy Repair button gives you two easy ways at the beacon, and one of them's an item, I think, as well, that you can just with the press of one button repair everything that was damaged at your outpost. This is a paid mod, if I recall correctly, by Center.Pat, zoologist artwork. I absolutely encourage this one. Just adds in 75 different species, photos and paintings, and they look great, especially if you're a fellow Xeno master or if you care about the Xenos in the game. You just think they look cool. You're setting up a science outpost or facility or whatever. The zoologist artwork is really, really well done, really cool. I felt bad because a very prolific mod author that I've seen their name, especially on Reddit, from the start of creations, and I've used at times a handful of their mods, but I don't give them enough recognition in the scheme of things for just the body of work that they have put into the game. But Inquisitor Overhauls, I've talked about them just sparingly. Again, absolutely not enough to show the appreciation for the amount of work that they put in. It's a crazy amount of work. But I had to put in some mod or two from Inquisitor Overhauls, and two of the ones that they've done were perfect for what we're trying to do, especially the more we explore with TG's Galactic Harvest, right? Inquisitor Build a Farm mod and Inquisitor Palisade Walls and Towers. The Palisade walls, wood walls, they look fantastic as walls that we can use in our outpost builds. And then this Build a Farm mod gives us a bunch of really cool features between plants, but also more rustic farming style, fencing and stuff like that. It's really, really cool mods, what it adds into the outpost build menus. But that's it for our outpost section right there. Now we're moving into our ship section, and we're getting close to the end of the load order, which is really just the things that impact play enough that I don't want anything else to potentially conflict with it, so I put those at the bottom. And then at the very bottom are the things that explicitly state put these at the very bottom, right? Heck yeah, Marty, I hope you have a great day for sure. Sly, I'm envious, bro. You on Xbox you were running 32 gigs of mods on Xbox. That means I would have to catch up by like 19 gigabytes. I mean, it could be done, but damn, that's a lot of mods. I need a lot of big mods to close that ground quickly. We also too we're making good time, but I don't want to push it. This is going to be perfect. By the time, hopefully, knock on wood, fingers crossed, we'll get through the bottom of the load order, and then we'll probably call it a day from there. But the ship section, I have in the ship vendor framework. To be fair, I added this part of the load order after the fact of initially setting up the base of this load order. It was when the Math Darkfang came out, and genuinely I just was like, you know what, it's fine, I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse on this, but it's fine, I can just put all of the ship stuff right here. The only other ship thing I have in at this point is the massive fleet from Bag Clams. Nothing in this is going to conflict with the way that that's set up. So the ship vendor framework, and then from Bag Clams 83, the Clam Tech Elite Ship Cargo Overhaul 2.0. From OG, the TN's Class M and Starborn Guardian shipbuilding. And then, of course, the best B class in the game, Math Dark Fang Mach 1 Class B, right? Those are the ship mods that we're playing with. I only have one companion mod, as in a mod that adds an actual companion. It's not even a companion. It's treated as such, but Pab, the pilot assist bot, it's such a cute little bot. I like putting it on the ship and just randomly seeing it do its little Star Wars looking thing. So we do got the pilot assist bot. That's the only one. If you were going to add in like Orb, which is the outsourced resource bot, or any other additional companions, this is probably that section where I would put those companions in at. Underneath the companions, we got from Zone 79, the Starfield billboards and posters. From Broken Classic 2, the roleplay backgrounds. Basement Dweller starter material bundles. From SKK Mods, the Outpost Attack Manager, as well as the Fast Start New Game. From Girl 489, the Cheat Terminal. From Aurelianus, Sit and Wait Anywhere. From Ghost Rider, the Carpet Walker naming and Achilles keyword vanilla. I'm not going to lie, I have no idea really what that mod's for, really. It's just about how they're called, I think, or whatever. So I feel like I could put this anywhere. There's no real need to put it at the bottom, I don't think. But it's right there. I got no good reason for it. It's right there. But again, back to Aurelianus, the gang is all here. One of my absolute favorite mods. Top 5 for sure favorite mods. And then the Shattered Space add-on for it as well. This is then when we get to my favorite mod, period. Xenomaster by Ghost Rider 231. The DLC support add-on. The Trade Authority can sell Xenomaster items add-on. The Xeno Ambassador. Definitely a great mod, right? And then from my homie Thorjan Ironside, the Ironside Intergalactic Hallowed Devils Welcome Kit, Xenomaster add-on. It's Thorjan's first mod. It's incredibly well done. Adds a lore slate, a bunch of Xeno goods. Absolutely clutch. Definitely encourage that for all the Xenomasters for sure. From here, from BGS at Hell's Gate, and then from Ghost Rider, the Tameable Creatures patch for the creatures from at Hell's Gate. And then here's where I'm getting into my Quest Edition mods, right? Mods that are going to add quests. Ramtech AI, the Prologue by J. Ramos Works. It's probably my favorite quest mod, like for a specific quest. I did go ahead and add in Lazarus Awaken, new version 2.0. Adds in some more quests and lore around the Terramorphs and such like that. We won't spoil it here, but I am intrigued enough by this mod, and I've heard good things about this mod, so I wanted to add it and check it out. I mentioned recently on a stream Starfield Compendium. It's literally one of the best resource mods for the game, period. It's a paid mod, but it literally adds a usable compendium where you can filter and sort through a ton of different desirable things, resources, goods, stuff like that, and gives you all the information on those locations. Super easy to use in regards to like the user interface, stuff like that. Very well done mod. Absolutely encourage that. Brits, be real, it's time to save by Ghost Rider 231. Whenever I'm streaming, Brit helps me all the time by reminding me, dude, you've done a lot of stuff and you're probably about to die. You really need to save. Yes, baby, you're right. Let's save. Thank you. Be real, it's time to save. There's settings to adjust how it's going to work, how often it'll pop up, stuff like that. But literally it pops up on screen reminding you, P for please, save, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, just press save. It's good. So, Brits, for someone like me, I had somebody say in the comments one time, oh, well, autosave's already in the game. Yeah, not really in the sense that we're talking about. You can set it up to autosave every time you press the start button. Watch the amount of crashing to desktop you experience skyrocket. You can make it so it'll save every time you travel. And watch the amount of crash to desktop you experience skyrocket. I do like sleep on save. That one seems to be fine. So it does autosave every time that I sleep, but I actually have to make it to a bed to sleep for it to do that. It doesn't just do it for me automatically. There is not an autosave feature like that without manually having to engage it, right? Correct. So, Brits, the mod, does have an actual autosave feature. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30-minute intervals, whatever you want to save it to. And you know what you don't have to do? Click an effing button to go and click autosave. It does it for you. That's wild, right? I'm not triggered. I just want to make sure some people comprehend, because I found out that clearly some people have a hard time comprehending some things, and that is tricky. The word autosaved is used flippantly, potentially, but it is two separate mechanics, right? For the way that it works between base game and Brits. I think that Brits is exceptional work by Ghostwriter for someone like me who gets tunnel vision to what they're doing and remembers not to save their progress, right? It's a great mod. I can kind of be a dick sometimes, my bad. Anyway, SETI, Ship Exterior True Illumination by Boss Dragon. It updates and improves the lighting around your ship. SOL, Sensible Outpost Lighting, again Boss Dragon. Again, it updates and improves the lighting around your outpost, right? Those are the two main lighting mods that I use. I've used all of Rabbit's real lighting mods before. They're incredible. Definitely encourage them. But I didn't necessarily need them on this load order. But I might add them. You know what I'm saying? I might add them for the sake of adding them. But that's something I wanted to avoid on this load order. Is this load order, I did not want to add things just for the sake of adding them. I wanted to add things that, even if more sparingly compared to others on this list, it would be used. I wanted to add things that would be used in normal play, right? Those are the two Outpost lighting mods that I did. The real lighting ones I would have shown off all the time, obviously traveling around the settled systems, but it was just additional mods that I didn't necessarily feel I needed at the time. But that is not a slight on what I view those mods as, or the value or impact I view those mods as having. I think they're fantastic mods and highly encourage anybody to check those out for sure. From Zone 79, the Starfield hair and beards, that's how we get the majority of the hairstyles that the characters we make here have. Again, Zone 79, the Starfield crowd overhaul and crowd faces add-on. Since playing with this mod, I've played load orders without this mod. I don't like playing without this mod. Not just the faces, like both of these together. The way that it just themes and improves the aesthetics and the apparel and the look of all of the major settled systems, it is very well done and a super worth it mod for sure. Talk about worth it. Now we have in buyer mods by Will NY4. We just have in currently the all resource buyer and the finished goods buyer. They are Outpost mods for sure, but for some reason, Will NY4's mods default to the bottom, or when I have to update them, I have to like fully delete it and add a new one, and it recognizes it as like a new mod outright. So I figured we'll just keep it closer to the lower part of the load order anyway. It'll be more convenient for me if I'm having to update or readjust or anything like that. But I love Will NY4's channel, the knowledge that my man brings to manufacturing and industry and automation within this game is unrivaled for sure. And the mods that my man's making now directly help people like me with a lesser understanding of the automation and stuff like that that can go into the industry of this game, right? This makes it, I've showed it off on our recent stream series playthrough, how you can build in these buyer mods, and then based on the other manufacturing and harvesting that you're doing in your outpost, you can automatically make Astras right there at your outpost, make money right there at your outpost. Star UI All-in-One by Z-Ogre. It's the UI that's encouraged by Darkstar, and so far so good. I'm enjoying it. I'm learning it. I'm used to the Praxis UI inventory, which I still think is a fantastic mod too. But Star UI by Z-Ogre is incredibly well done as well, and I have no qualms about switching over to this one. I'm enjoying it very much so far. This is also now where we're getting down into those Grind Terraverse mods by It's Polly B. So we got the base Grind Terraverse PPG standalone expansion And then we got the buildings and encounters. The encounters all DLC expansion. The peoples, a buildings expansion pack. All of those by It's Me Polly B. They all update the way that the environments out in the wilderness look, things that you can encounter out in the environments. It's a ton of fun. I've already shown off a bunch of stuff that this adds in and streaming over the past couple of weeks, right? All by It's Me Polly B, and that's where I have all those towards the very, very bottom of the load order. Only thing lower now, three specific things. Watchtower, we have at the start of this bottom section. That transitions right into Darkstar. Bro, we're right at the end. We're right at the end, dude. Just give me like 5 more minutes, bro. No? He's gonna bark. Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. You're a good boy. You're fine. Come here. But so the Darkstar stuff, before I added the paid Darkstar overhaul, I was testing out and experimenting, trying to learn the mechanics of some of the individual ones. So that's how I started out. The astrodynamics, the manufacturing, the boost fixer, the emissaries. But then when I added the actual Darkstar overhaul, you put that in at the bottom of that section, and then you start off with the Darkstar transition patch. And then once I got that patch in, we put the Shattered Space patch, the Watchtower patch by Cyber Ghost. I thought I had one more. Oh, I haven't added in the patches yet because I haven't added in Horizon. I want to add in Horizon Beta, which is by Architect, and then by Merv's Bites. He's got 2 more Darkstar patches that I want to add in then for Horizon. One that adds a Darkstar shipbuilding terminal to that star station, and then the other one makes the morgues in that star station useful morgues, right? We'll get those added in. I do have from Paul Brock, Not Yet Watchtower, incredibly clutch. It literally gives you an option either after the neighborhood, after All That Money Can Buy, after a Unity, or after Entangled, before that first interaction and engagement with the Watchtower people happens. It's a great, I've said on stream, it happening at the beginning of a new playthrough series can be role played out in a way that still makes sense, and I'm not mad at, but having the ability to like push it off at least to All That Money Can Buy, if not later, I think makes way more sense. So we definitely added in the Not Yet Watchtower. I can't scroll any further down on this, so you can see that one. The one that's hidden by the camera, it's Domesticate All Flora and Fauna, again by Will NY4. I just talked about this recently on a stream. It makes it so each flora or fauna species that you are exploring for, researching, whatever, you just have to find one, click one, and it will 100% that entire species, right? Tommy, why do you have that one at the very, very bottom of your load order? Super simple. It automatically goes there. I don't put it there. Every single load order I've ever made, whenever I add that mod specifically, it fixates itself on the very lowest last bottom position. So I just leave it be. There's literally nothing you can do. If I hit LB to try to reorder it, it'll go up there. When I exit out and go back in, it'll be right back down at the bottom. So I don't even want to mess with it in case that would be a bad idea. I don't know, but like, yeah, that is the load order though. I don't want to count it off on stream because I feel like that'd just be me counting to just over 100, and that's super fun. You know what I'm saying? But we can real quick. I'll show you how to add a mod to an existing load order because I do. What? I thought I updated all this stuff already. These are literally the last things that I just updated. Apparently it didn't save my updates. I said it on stream. I was like, I updated a few mods this morning before jumping on and blah, 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 blah. It was literally these mods that I updated. I don't know why it's acting like I didn't update them. We'll fix that. We'll fix that later. Don't worry. But let's look for... Horizon. Yeah, I was low-key impressed by this. Only because, I'll be real, the only reason I was legitimately impressed by this is because I can move it. right? Like it's not just in one spot that I consistently have to keep going back to. The fact that I have a little terminal thing that I can make it just appear in orbit wherever I'm at, that kind of tips the scales for me. That kind of tips the scales for me because I don't like necessarily living in my ship because the ship is cramped and contained, right? No matter how big you make the ship, it's still going to be cramped and contained because of the way that you have to work within the inner habs, right? So, like, it's fun for flying and it has its purpose for, like, spot fixing stuff on the go, but I don't see it as something that I'd actually live in, right? It's something that I'm using as a vehicle. This obviously has the size and the aesthetics of something that I would live in. But like especially like you find it in Leviathan 4. But let's just say like it started off in like orbit of Gagarin or something like that. Like that means I would have to go back like if I'm saying if it was stationary, like I'd have to go back to that place every single time, whatever orbit it's in, however far I have to go to get there, however many jumps it's going to take, which you could still role play out if you like lose your terminal thing or something like that, I guess. But I don't know. I'm really intrigued by the idea that I can use that terminal and just bring it to me, because then I could station up a bunch of goodies that I want to store away, armor, weapons, what have you, have stuff set up, preset on that, and that be the mobile base. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, the baby's stirring. Perfect timing, I guess. But I am intrigued by this. I won't download it right now because I don't know if I'll have time to actually load it up. We'll go ahead and go with the sign now. But that was... what changed? Nothing changed. I didn't change anything. I swear it's because I moved the will and Y4 thing and then toggle it back. I swear that's what it was. We're just going to make sure that... I didn't add it, did I? Did I add it? Did I hit download? I don't know. We'll figure it out later. I don't want to have this baby getting mad at me. So, you know what I'm saying? I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. It was like an hour and a half of me talking about the load order. Starting at the top, we worked our way to the bottom. I had a bunch of tangents, a bunch of soapbox moments. I tried to explain the best I could why I put my load order in the order that I put my load order in, why I think it makes sense to me. Again, the only thing I can stand on for it is several hundred videos and live streams even now that show in play when I'm actually playing in the game that it works. Now obviously we're troubleshooting some kinks here and there. That's going to happen with mods, right? But overall, in the grand scheme of things, seems to work, right? I don't know why it works. If your way works and it's completely different than my way, then by all means, that's completely cool. I don't think there's one right way to do it over any other right way to do it, right? But I do like the idea of being able to work together to figure out what works for others, and if people are struggling, how we might be able to help them. The community post or the community section of the channel is open for posts like that. If you're struggling with your load order, let us know in the comments, the community section, whatever. You can make your own post. Reach out to the community, let us know what's happening. We got a ton of really brilliant people around these parts that absolutely love trying to help out with that, right? But I hope you enjoyed this stream. If you did, I hope you press the like button. Definitely hope you consider subscribing to the channel. There's a ton more content on the way. The baby is definitely awake, so let us know in the comments below what you think. Take care till next time.